our Honda Prelude's first trip since owning it to the gas station. And we got some AP1 wheels. Our speedometer is not working, so I will check the codes for this one and see if I can replace the vehicle speed sensor. Alright DIYers, today we're gonna be checking our Honda Prelude because we don't have a speedometer, so the speedometer is not working. Today we're going to be replacing our vehicle speed sensor. Before replacing your VSS, you want to make sure to remove your negative terminal for your battery first. After you remove your negative terminal of the battery, next thing that you want to do is to remove your intake tube. I'm removing this hose from the valve cover, and I'm also using a flathead screwdriver to loosen up this clamp for the intake tube. And then you can just lift your intake tube and place it somewhere safe, so that's a good spot. And I'm shining a light to the sensor that we need to replace. If you follow the end of this magnet, it is this sensor right here. It has a plug on top and two 10mm bolts on the side, so this is the one that we need to remove. So what I'll do now is I will remove the connector, which is this guy right here. So you just have to push this tab and pull it out. And I'm also using a 10mm swivel joint socket and several extensions. On the other side of the sensor, there's another 10mm. And then after removing both of the 10mm bolts, we can then now just gently pull out the sensor. So this is the old sensor, and just make sure that you also pull out the pin. So this is the old part. This one with the two notches goes towards the transmission, and then the square part goes to the sensor. This is the replacement sensor that we have. The part number for this sensor will be somewhere in this video. And the new one goes here, and this one goes to the hole of the transmission port. Before I put this one in, then I will just add a little bit of grease, and then later I will add also grease on the part that I'm holding on. And this one is in. And then now I will just add a little bit of grease. And now we're ready to install this sensor. And then after putting the sensor in, now you want to put back these two 10mm bolts. Once you got both of the 10mm snug in, now you want to plug back this connector. We're just putting the intake tube back, and then let's go for a test drive. Yes, it's a success. Our needle is moving. I'm sorry about the camera rotation. I put the camera into the steering wheel. Okay, now we know that our speedometer is working, but I'm gonna check what is the check engine light is for, and I will also reset the SRS light. I'll see if I can get rid of that one by resetting it. Alright, stay tuned. The code that we were able to pull out is the P0325, and that is the knock sensor, and that one will show up because we're using an OBD1 ECU for now. The knock sensor is not read by the OBD1, but once I replace the OBD1 ECU with the P28, and after chipping that one, then I will be getting that knock sensor deleted as well. Okay, now we're resetting our SRS light on our 97 Honda Prelude. The tools that you need on this one is either a paper clip or two wires, just like this. And then the plug that you want to access would be this one with the yellow plug. This guy right here. You just want to remove that, and this is the yellow plug that we need to access in order for us to clear the codes for the SRS. And then that yellow plug is the only plug that doesn't have any other connector. So this one is connected to a blank, so that's the back of the connector, and this is where that service plug goes into. Once we got the yellow plug out, we just need to stick two wire on each end. So that's one, and then this is the second one, just like so. And then we have a series of actions that we need to do, putting them together and then pulling them out, putting them together and then pulling them out. Okay, once you're ready to do this, okay, now you just want to touch both of the wire while the ignition is off. Once you turn it on, keep holding these two wires together. Once the SRS lights turn off, let it go, and when it comes back on, touch them back together, and then once it turns off, let it go, and it should blink. All right, so it's kind of like this. Touch them together like this, turn the ignition on, once the SRS is off, let it go, and then once it's back on, connect them together. Once it's out, let it go, and it should blink. Now that's the only procedure that we have in order for us to reset the SRS. Now you want to turn your ignition off, and you have to wait about 10 seconds. And then now we can just go ahead and remove both of the wires out. After waiting about 10 seconds, now you just want to start your car. And the SRS should turn on and eventually turn back off, and it should stay off. And that's how you successfully reset your SRS light. Alright DIYers, thank you for watching. Today we were able to replace our vehicle speed sensor and fix our speedometer, and also reset our SRS light. Stay tuned for more videos and update for this Honda Prelude. Alright.